Last exercise yesterday exercise about file. I specific
Hmm.
part many time for check existing for create folder and for move how I prove the process it it based many time for I specific same data you know about it.
Okay, let me open your machine and then we can see. Okay.
Okay,
You
okay.
okay? Everybody, open your VMs and then we'll continue.
Twenty-five.
Okay, now show me.
Okay. I specific part
Hmm.
many time same data
Okay. Okay.
uh,
See, this is
three
because
time how I improve this.
yeah, I got your issue. See, when you check if the folder exists, you are you have used the create folder activity in then. Okay, if this is false, then you create. Okay, even this is right. Then you move the file, project sorted picture, project sorted picture. Okay. Okay, so what is it doing? You run it with some data in there and then let's check what it is doing.
Uh, I mean I how I improve this not not error in this project. Uh, in Studio can assign value for this.
You want to assign value for what?
ใช่ดิ this is same value for use can
Okay,
can I can I can I define one time for use
okay, you
three
are
activity.
talking about the path. You want to assign it once to a variable, right?
Yes.
Okay. We have a save for later activity. When
Mm,
you drag it, you write down here a new variable.
okay, okay.
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 Then here you go to text and you paste the path over here, and then you can use this variable everywhere.
Okay, okay. Thank you, I see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? Anything that you want me to repeat? Anything you want me to look into your VMs for? Please tell me now. Ashira, are you all good or do you want me to repeat something? Fanumas, any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, Pamsak.
I'm okay.
Okay, Ruang date, any doubts, any questions, anything you want me to repeat? Okay, Tavine, any doubts from your side? Okay. Okay, then let's move ahead. Okay, first let's do a quick recap on what we have done yesterday. Okay, so yesterday morning we started with word automation. When it comes to word automation, we have a resource activity called use word file. We drag and drop the use word file resource activity. Once we drag and drop that activity, we give the path in the word file, in the path tab, in the path box, and then we use any and what all actions we need to perform within that use word file container. Okay, so we yesterday went through a lot of type of activities, and whatever, if few activities are left, you can go through them later on, you can try them on later on. I tried to cover most of the activities in yesterday's task, but if anything is missing, you can try it out for yourself. And if you face any issues, do let me know. So everybody clear with word automation, or everybody's task was also finished for word automation, right? Okay, let's move forward. Then what we discussed is about decisions. So we saw what if activity is, what type of conditions can be put into our if activity, what are the scenarios where we can use if activity, and what does the then and the else block shows, and how do they work. Then uh, yeah, so that was all about if activity. Anybody has any doubts regarding if activity, or do you want me to repeat any part of the if activity? Okay, let's move forward. Then we have iterations. Okay, so now for iterations is all about how do we perform the same steps for a number of inputs. When we have a lot of inputs, uh, when we have a lot of cases to be processed with same steps, how do we iterate into a list of all those test cases? So yesterday we tried out for each row in email, for each Excel sheet, and today once we cover the email part, we will go through the for each email also, and we also covered for each file and folder yesterday. So anybody, any questions from for each Excel or for each file and folder? Okay. Uh, Guys, just remember one thing. Whenever you use a for each, make sure in the actions inside the for each row, make sure you use the current row or the current sheet or whatever the current variable gets assigned, whatever the current variable uh, is used in the for each activity, make sure you use it only inside it, because only in that case even you would be able to move from one transaction to another transaction. So for example, if you are working on 10th example, and in your code, in your actions, you have hard codedly given a cell from Excel which is B2, so that would go wrong. So make sure whenever you refer from the input, and when your input changes according to the for each row, make sure you refer to the current row and then to whatever item from current row you want to refer to. Okay. Then we have scenarios. So we learned about what switch activity is, how do we use it, and where can we use it. So yesterday we did a few examples also with switch case. We used it in the file and folder task also, and we had a different scenarios task for scenarios too. So I suppose everybody is clear with the switch and how it works and where it works. Okay. Okay, then comes file and folder automation. So, yesterday we did a task about how to organize the file and folder. So, in terms of when we check for if the file or the folder exists, remember whenever we check anything which says exist, that means we have to check whether the element is present or not present, whether the file is present or not present. It always gives us a result in boolean form, which is either a true or a false. So you can always use the output of that condition into a if block. So just like yesterday we used it, we checked whether the folder is present or not present, and then we had a if condition to see if the folder is not present, then we create the folder. Okay, we also used the for each file in the folder to iterate through all the files that were present in the subfolder, and I hope everybody's task for file and folder automation is completed, or is there anybody whose task is not completed yet? Anybody whose task is not completed yet? Is everybody's task completed? Please write a yes or a completed in the conversation. Okay, great. This was the task. Yeah. Now from here, from project notebook, we will be starting today. We'll be covering these topics today. So, anybody, I'm asking once again, any doubts from yesterday's or day before yesterday's session, or can we proceed forward? Okay, let's move ahead then. Okay. Uh, then we come to what project notebook is. So, a project notebook, as I already told you, UiPath Studio X is a platform with no coding. When we talk about no coding, initially in the studio, to perform any types of, I would say, data modification or any type of editing that or any type of formatting that we need to do on our input data so that it can be presentable as the output data, we had to use some methods. When I talk about methods, if we have to for suppose I have a huge string and from there I need to fetch just the last word, or I need to check whether a specific word is present there or not present there. In all these cases, what I had to do is I used to use string operations. I used to use uh, string methods to convert them into what I exactly need. But Studio X, being a no code platform, Studio X made sure that you do not have to learn any methods or any type of basic coding to develop a code. So what they did is they created a notebook, they created an Excel file where you give the input data and you get the type of output data that you want. If you use a Excel formula in those cells, so once you give the input, the output is being populated by itself. In such cases, what we do is whenever we are able to fetch the input data, we paste it in the we paste it in the project notebook in the input cell, and according to whatever cells are present in the output, and whenever we need it, we access it directly. Since to use project notebook, we do not have to use any type of use Excel file or anything. It is just directly integrated with your code, and you can use it directly from the plus icon that we get. When we go to the plus icon, we get the first option as the notebook. When you hover over notebook, you get all the sheets, and when you get all the sheets, you can select any cell from that particular sheet that you want to. Okay. So even yesterday we tried using the project notebook in one of our codes, but I think not everybody used it. So let's see about project notebook a little bit more. Okay, so everybody, are you logged into your VMs? Okay. Please open your UiPath Studio. Create a new blank task and name it maybe project notebook demo. Go to notebook and open notebook. Okay, guys, everybody. Uh, okay, you have 5 minutes. Go through all these sheets individually. Try changing the input and see what output do you get, and what type of functions are there. In terms of every sheet, you will have an input cell. Here you have this as date input. Here you have text as input. Here you have a number input, and here you have a file path input. So I want everybody to go through this Excel file, change the input, and then see how the output changes, so that you know what type of data do we need here. Okay, and then I would show you a small task about how do we use Scratchpad. Okay, so let's everybody please start um, Please start exploring these four tabs, these four Excel sheets. Okay, so everybody gone through all the sheets? Anybody has any questions in terms of these four Excel sheets? Date, text, number, and file? Yeah, tell me wrong date. About date. Okay. Hmm. Uh, which cell number are you talking about? Which row number? Separator? Yeah, tell me. So text, separator, and format. These three things are input. So whenever we give a text in this language, we give the separators too. We give all the three separators, and then in the format, we would give that which format are we giving the date in. Is it year, month, date, month, year, or what sequence is it in? Okay. You can try doing that. Can? Yes. So as you can see on the sheet, it says local independent way. So this is meant for anything which is outside English. So once you give the date, you give the separators and you give the format, I think it should work pretty well. Okay. Welcome. Anybody else? Any doubts? Any questions?
I have some question.
Yes, Jira, tell me.
I try to change prefer format to the short name of month MMM.
Date,
Short name of month. Uh, prefer format.
short name.
Six 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 low. Change MM to
Okay. Two
capital
triple.
MMM.
Right. Okay.
For display the short name of the month. Some like some value some result is error.
Okay. Let's see. What is the value here? Okay, ideally this should be working fine. Uh, okay, give me some time. I will check on it and then come back to you on this. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
welcome. Anybody else? Any questions? Any doubts? Permsak, do you have any doubt?
Yes,
Yeah, tell me.
yes. I have question about text sheet.
Okay.
Text sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I change input text
Okay.
uh-huh, to my name.รัก RUK
You changed it to
เพิ่มศักดิ์ M dot
uh, okay, M
อ่า
dot
dot อ่า space รัก RUK
UK.
RUK RUK R
Okay.
UK โอเคอ่าฮะ
Okay. You
X
changed
X
it
text
to
text
this.
โอเคอันนั้นใหม่ you saw you see X tag text what sharp value not show
Okay. Okay, wait. Okay. If you change it to okay. Now, which cell are you talking about? Tell me the cell number. Like, is it this? Is it B13? Which cell is it? Which cell are you talking about, Pernsak?
uh-huh
Which cell? Which row?
which row row 5 column F
Okay, row 5, column F. Okay,
this show this not show
this one.
yes
Okay,
I I
so
I I don't know why show sharp value
okay, let me change. Okay, this is because if you see the formula, it works according to what text you are giving, what text is there on the left. So if I change it here to permsac and here I change it to IUK, then you see you get the right result. Then you get your middle name. Okay, and here
uh,
if I
mhm.
give the left name as this, you get the extracted text as the remaining word, as your remaining name. Okay,
Okay
and
okay
here
so
if
so
you
mhm.
give the text to write, as in if the right text is IUK, then what is left in there? So it is
Mhm,
left
mhm,
your
mhm.
remaining name. Do you
I,
get it
I,
now?
I saw,
How
I
does
saw.
it
I get,
work?
I got it. I got it.
Yeah. So this is the input.
Okay, okay, okay. I got
Okay.
it. I got it.
This
Okay.
extracted text is the output.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Welcome. Okay. Okay. So anybody else, any questions? Any doubts? Okay. Okay. So we already covered notebook usage of notebook in yesterday's codes. So the usage is absolutely same in all the four sheets. You give the input and you take whatever output you need by indicating the cells. Okay. Now what I'll tell you is how do we use Scratchpad. So what we'll do is we'll just do a very small I would say exercise. So for suppose I take here number 1, I take here number 2 and I give here uh, their sum. Okay. So now I have my number 1 as input. Similarly, my number 2 is also input and sum is my output. Okay. Now, how does your notebook work? It works in a way that you give formulas over here. So I give here B1 into B2. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I do not have to do the product. I have to do sum. So sum B1 sum B1 until B2. Okay. And I will change these all to number. Now, this is Scratchpad. So by Scratchpad, I mean, you can have anything you want here for anything customized. If you want anything that does not lie in the other sheets, you can create the logic for it here, and you can access it through your code. Now, for example, let me take an input dialog box. What does an input dialog box do? It takes input from the user. Okay, so I give its title as input input 1. Okay, I give the input label as enter the first number. Say type is text box. When you select value entered, you want it written here in Scratchpad. And when you talk about Scratchpad, you just have cell A1, A2, A3 by default. So what you do is you indicate in Excel and you highlight the box B1 and confirm. Okay. Once you have it, you basically gave the input to the cell B1. Now this is your first input. I want another same input. So I copy paste this. I change the text to input 2 and here I change it to enter the number and I have to save it where in cell B2 and save. Okay. Now what I have to do is I have to print the sum. So in order to print the sum, I need to go here, I need to go to notebook, I have to indicate in cell and I indicate B3. Okay. And okay, let's open text. Let me print here the sum of the sum of the given two numbers is this. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so this is how input dialog box works. It gives you this box where the user can enter the value. Now, first value that I want to give is 35. Okay, then it asks me for the second number, and if you see here, as soon as I wrote 35, it got saved here to cell B1. Okay, then I use the second number, which is 20. The 20 comes here to the next cell, and we get the sum as the third cell. Is everybody clear to what I did, or do you have any questions? Anybody, any questions, any doubts? Anybody who thought I was going too fast and wants me to repeat it in a slower speed? Okay, great. Let's move forward then. Okay. Then comes our next topic, which is data modification. Okay. So when we come to data modification, we have an activity called modify text. As you can see on the screen on the left hand side, I have mentioned here two activities. First is modify text, and the another one is text to left or right. Now, what happens? What does modify text does? This basically helps us to modify to make any modifications in the text that we already have. So it helps us perform actions like find and replace, combine two text. For suppose I have a variable, I have two input dialog box, and it gives me two words, and I want to combine them. So I can combine them using modify text. I can trim any extra spaces from the text that I have. I can convert that text to complete uppercase or to lowercase. Then we have an activity called text to left or right. This helps me retrieve information about. So if I given a sentence, my name is Taru, and if I enter text as is, and I want the text to left, what I will get is my name, and if I select text to right, I will get the output as Taru. If I so when I select is as a word, I get my name as the text to left, and my actual name as a Taru as my text to right. Okay, so these two activities that we have for data modification, and this is the exercise that all of you have to do. Okay, one thing that I have to tell you is, just give me a second. Okay, meanwhile, what I'll do is, let's see what modify text looks like. Okay, so text to modify. This is where we give the input. Okay, and this is the drop down where we select what type of action do we have to perform. So we can perform uh, these four operations. So let me give here some random text. Let me give space space space. My name is Taru. Space 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 space. Save. Okay. Uh, okay. here we can test whatever we are giving. Okay, so for example, I give here space space space, my name is Taru, and then again space space space, and then I have to test. So see, if you see here, I added a lot of space, and even here I have added a lot of space here, but in the output I do not have any space from on left or on the right side. This is because I choose to perform the operation trim, and then I have two trims, trim left, trim right. If I uncheck trim left, okay, and I go on test, and I again give space space space, my name is Taru space space space. Now, if you check here, if you test it now, the left space remains there, whereas the right space gets altered. Okay, why did it happen? Because I unchecked the trim left option. If I check this, my spaces will get trimmed from both the sides, or else it will just be trimmed. My spaces would be trimmed from any side which you have checked in. Everybody clear? Okay. Uh, okay. Let's see to what our challenge is. Okay. Now these are the three. These are the three tasks. Basically, these are the. This is the task that we need to perform now, and mm, okay. Now, uh, what we do is, okay. Let me see the Excel file here. Okay, everybody, I am sharing an Excel file with all of you, and I want you to work on it. Okay, everybody, I am copying this file here, and please make sure you check it once. Okay, guys, start checking whoever is able to see the file now. Okay, did everybody get the file? Okay, I want everybody to create a new task. To create a new task as data modification and open it. Okay, and open the Excel file. Okay. Now, what we have to do here is this is our input file. Uh, we have the requirements written here, and the test data is here. Okay. Here comes the file text, and here comes the text. What we have to do is we have to change the decimal separator to comma. We just need to keep two decimals and add the currency symbol in the modified to the modified number. Okay, so now okay, let's see here. If I drag and drop the modify activity, okay, if I see this, I have steps like find and replace, and I have combined text. So if I see the first activity, my first requirement, I can do the first step using the modify text activity, and I can perform the third step using the modify data activity. But my second steps remains intact. Okay, so let me show you one exercise for numbers, and then I want you to complete the file names and text. Okay, so let's start with numbers. First of all, we are using an Excel file, so we use Excel. Okay, everybody, I want you to do it along with me, and then I want all of you to start with the next two tabs. Okay, so here we select the Excel file. Let me copy this Excel file in my project folder only. Okay, here I select the project file. Then what do I have to do is okay, then I have to work on my first task. Okay, so now see, I have three tasks. Okay, and when I talk about three tasks, what I have is I have to use the same Excel file. So I need different containers for different types of tasks. So for numbers, I want one container. For my files, I want another container, and for text, I want another container. So we have an activity called group. When we drag and drop group, it is we can rename it from here. We select group, we go to properties, and here we can select for suppose I write it uh, numbers challenge. Okay, now I will drag and drop all the activities for numbers channel in this group. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have multiple rows here, we have multiple data here. So again, I need to use for each Excel row, right? Because I have one sheet for numbers and I have multiple rows there. In range, now this time we do not have a range in terms of a table or anything. So this time what we do is, okay, and this is not even a table because when you click here, you do not get design or you do not get the table information. So this time we need to fix the numbers where we have to work with. Okay, so we go here, we go to in range plus sign, we go to Excel, we go to numbers. Okay, but in numbers, you see when we select numbers, it selects the complete Excel file. We do not need to select the complete Excel file because we have requirements also, we have empty spaces also. So what I do is, I go here, I again go to the plus icon, I go to Excel and I do indicate in Excel. When I do indicate in Excel, I select columns like this because this is all that I need, right? Then I click on confirm. Then I check has headers because the area that I checked was including the headers. Everybody following me till here? Everybody following me? Any doubts till here? Okay. Okay, now we have this 2. Now what we have to do is, okay, now if I go through my requirements, I can fulfill my these two requirements, the first and the third requirement, but I cannot complete the second requirement using the modify text activity. But I know one thing that for numbers, I have this thing in my notebook where if I give the input, I can get the output until 2 decimals, right? When I can get it till, and this is my second requirement. I need to just keep the number until 2 decimals. So now what I have to do is I have to write my number here in input and then pick it up here from 2 decimals. Okay, let's code for this thing. Okay, we can use a write cell activity. We drag and drop the write cell activity. Here, what to write? What do we have to write? We have to write current rows number. Okay, and now where to write? We have to write it in notebook. In notebook numbers, and in number we have to write it in number input. Okay, let's check. Yes, this is the number input cell where I have to write it. Okay, everybody following? Okay, once I have done this, now what are the two things that are remaining? Now the two things that are remaining is change the decimal separator to comma and add the currency symbol to the modified text. Okay, now what do I do is I drag and drop the modify activity. Okay, in text to modify, what I do is I pick up the data directly from the notebook. I come here, I go to Excel, I go to notebook, I go to number and I pick up 2 decimals. Okay, then the modification that I have to do is find and replace. Okay, so the text that I have to search for is dot, is a decimal, and the text that I have to replace it with is a comma. Save. Okay, let me test it. So if I have a number 35.56 and I test it, I get 34 comma 56. So I wanted this, it works fine. Now I have to save the result. So I save. Okay, and yeah, so in terms of saving the result, we save it directly to our output. Okay, our output will be current row and final numbers. Okay, but there is another thing that we have to do, which is combine the text. So I again do add modification. I go to combine text, then new text to add. New text to add will be my current row, currency symbol, and where do we have to add it, to the left or to the right? We always add the currency to the left, so I select left, and that's it. I should get my output here in the Excel file. Everybody following me till here? Or any doubts? Anything you want me to repeat? Okay, let's try and run it. See, my decimal got replaced with comma, my decimal numbers got reduced to only two digits, and the currency got added. Okay, anybody, any questions? Ask me now, because now you will have to do the file names and the text task. Yes, ask. Tell me your question, wrong date. Where do you have the issue? Yeah. Okay. You appear to be offline. Can you click on the adjust resolution button once? Okay. Citizen 20. Okay, let me back. Uh, it is unable to open your Excel file. Okay. Are you already using your Excel file? Yes. That is, you have to close the Excel file before you run your code. Okay. Now try running it. Okay. Now open the Excel file and check the result. Great. Welcome. Anybody else? Any doubts? Any questions? I'll address them right now. Okay, fine. So everybody have the input Excel file. I want all of you to work on the other two tabs, and we will have a break after 20 minutes. So you have 15 minutes. Complete both these Excel files, the file name and the text, I told you how to select the code and how to select the region and everything. And I will ask you for results at 3:20. Sorry, at what time is it there? 8:30, 9, 10. I'll ask you for the results at 10:25. Okay, so all of you have 15 minutes. Please start doing the exercise for file names and text. Anybody, any doubts? Let me know. This is the Excel file. Okay, the slide. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Sure, Tavini, just give me a minute. Tavini, what is your machine number? Okay. Okay. I have pasted a file on your desktop. Practice working with data result. And for everybody else also, I'm pasting the expected result file on your desktop. Okay. Everybody please check for the output file, expected output file on your desktop. Okay, anybody who has completed the task? Okay, anybody who has completed the first tab? By first tab, I mean the. Okay, okay. I'm giving you another 5 minutes. Please try and complete it by then. Okay, anybody, any questions? Anywhere where you are stuck and you want me to access your VM?
Uh, how I
Yes, Jira.
how I separate the code from the actor.
Okay, let me see. What is your machine number?
25.
Hmm. Okay, let's see. Uh, which one do you want me to check? File group or the text group?
check group.
Text, okay. Okay, you did it from B8 to D11. Let's check this first. This is B8 to D11, right? Okay. Then input. What to write is current row input. Okay. Where to write is in text input. Absolutely right. Then modify text. Okay. You picked up the lowercase.
Lowercase.
Got it. Then you replaced. Okay. First of all, when you replace any such things, okay, it is going to look for two braces which are together. So you need to first give one and then you copy it over here and you give here
Replace with the double quote or empty.
yeah, just a second. Okay. Then you replaced the underscore with space. Okay, this is right. Then you trimmed the text, which is also fine. Okay, okay, okay. There is another thing that if you see here, wherever there are two underscores together, right? Like here, we are replacing underscores with the spaces, right? And your code says remove the extra spaces. Okay, so what we will do is we will we will add another modification. We will do find and replace. In search, we would give two spaces. Okay, save. And we will replace it with one space.
Spacing.
Okay, this way we can remove the spaces in between also. You already trimmed to remove these spaces from the start and from the end, right?
Okay.
But you need this to replace the spaces from the between.
Okay. I
Okay.
see.
Okay, now let's see if anything else is left. You replace this, this is done, remove the extra spaces is done, lowercase is done. Now we want separate the quote from the author. Okay, we want quote and we want author. Okay, now if you see, we have the separator as hyphen, right? The dash symbol. So now we will have the activity text to left and right. Okay, you saved the result over here. You saved the result in the
You can
okay.
change.
You
Is
do
the
not you do not save it there, okay? Because this is not
default.
your final file name. First of all, this we are doing in text, right? So we have to give author a quote and author. So here we save it to one of the variables. We create a new variable. Suppose this is modified value. Okay. Then
Okay.
we take this as an input. Use saved values, modified value. We take the separator as hyphen.
One
Now
hyphen.
save text left as. Now here we have to save it to left is quote and the right is author. Do you get it?
Okay. One hyphen in the code.
record.
Okay. Now close the Excel file, both the Excel files, and then try and run it.
Okay, I see.
Close the Excel files and run. You first have to close the Excel files. Okay. Now check the result. Okay, you replaced it with two semicolons. We need to give one colon at one time. Okay, then the author is coming right. This is also coming right. There are no extra spaces also. Okay, but your input remains same in all three cases. Why? You did not select the input as you have the for each row, you have the range right. You are writing current row input. Then here you have notes, text, text input. Okay. Uh, Notes, text, lowercase. Uh, okay, let's check to that. Meanwhile, let's check the file name. Uh, your file name is not coming correct because you have to remove whatever comes after file name. So you should not have this underscore and WIP or underscore and final. Okay. And then this comes right. If you check here on your desktop, I have the result. See, here I do not have any underscore WIP or underscore template or underscore final, right? You just need the extension and the file name without the underscore work in progress template or final. So you need to change this
Okay.
and check why is your loop not iterating through all of them.
Okay.
Okay, it is
Yes.
typing in there, but there is something wrong. You try and debug, and I'll look into it again.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else who needs help? Wrong date, where are you? Still working? Okay. Okay, then, okay. So it's almost 10:40. So let's take a break for half an hour and I'll meet you again at 11:10. Okay? And then I'll tell you the solution to this task. Okay, everyone? Okay, let's meet after half an hour.